Hey, Vina.
Hi, Tom. How are you?
Good, thank you.
So it's 4 p.m. Should we start?
Yeah, let's kick it off. I can see there's a fair few people online. There's a couple still more joining, but yeah, let's start the session. Welcome everybody. Thank you for joining the next iteration of the MBZIRC webinars. Happy New Year to you all. And yeah, I hope everyone is well along with their white paper proposals and is coming with just a final few questions to flesh it out before submitting, with obviously the deadline in a couple of weeks' time. Just to give you a quick rundown of what will happen today, Bina will give you a quick overview of the challenge for those of you that aren't aware, and a little bit of background as our program manager for MBZIRC, and then we will throw open to the floor for questions. So please do use the chat function or the Q&A function to raise anything that may be top of mind for you. And yeah, without further ado, Bina, I'll hand over to you.
Thank you, Tom. Welcome everybody to the next webinar of MBZIRC Maritime Grand Challenge. Happy New Year to everyone. So I'm Veena Hausen, the program manager of MBZIRC Maritime Grand Challenge. I'm a part of Aspire that is driving the creation of transformative technologies. So today's agenda is as follows. It's pretty much similar to the previous webinars. I will provide to you an introduction to Aspire and the MBZIRC Maritime Grand Challenge. We will then talk about discussion forum to facilitate teaming activities. We will take questions from the teams, and lastly, I encourage all the participants to go through the FAQs that are already on our website. We have updated our FAQs, so there are more questions and answers on the website. Before we look at what the MBZIRC has in store between now and 2023, I would like to talk a little bit about Aspire. Aspire is an organization that exists to build the gap, to bridge the gap between the lab and the real world. We're based in Abu Dhabi, and we are technology program management arm of Advanced Technology Research Council, ATRC in short. A part of ATRC, we are a sister organization to Technology Innovation Institute, which you might know as TII, which is also ATRC's applied research arm. I mean to say TII is ATRC's applied research arm. Our role is to drive the creation of transformative technologies. Fundamentally, we focus on commissioning research that leads to pioneering advances, helping deliver new technologies with practical applications. We do this in a number of ways, from directing strategy to funding research, selecting partners, managing the development of research, and shaping the problem statements and international grand challenges to really drive the next great leap in tech evolution. At Aspire, we are here for the real world. We don't do research for the sake of research. We frame our research statements with clear benefits and practical commercial applications in mind. We work in close consultation with researchers, innovators, and cross-sector industry stakeholders from all levels of the local and international R&D ecosystem. We ensure that our research projects have a clear path to successful application. This is very important for us. So it's a natural and logical part of our mission to sponsor and organize grand challenges at the highest level, which can translate quickly into IP and commercial success. As part of Aspire's mission to solve tomorrow's issues, our high-profile competitions and grand challenges reach out to engage innovators and talented research teams from around the globe. To us, they offer a unique way to approach problem solving and maybe even to reach innovators we've never heard of until now. We're challenging them and you to develop groundbreaking solutions to some of the world's most pressing problems. And another important part of what we are doing is we are opening up siloed innovations, bringing all the brains together to solve a bigger challenge. X Prize Feed the Next Billion is the very first grand challenge sponsored by Aspire. I'll give a little bit of background about this prize. By 2050, Earth's population will be 9.7 billion people. Demand for high protein products is increasing. Impact of meat production is devastating the planet. This challenge seeks to address these conflicting trends. Feed the Next Billion competition was launched in December 2020 and will run for 4 years. It carries a total prize purse of $15 million. This competition incentivizes innovation in chicken breast and fish fillet alternatives. The goal is to replicate or outperform conventional chicken breast and fish fillet in access, environmental sustainability, animal welfare, nutrition and health, taste and texture. So if you know somebody who might want to take part in this challenge, I think the rolling registration is almost close to ending, but do take a look at Feed the Next Billion webpage. Now, let's start by looking at the bigger picture. Robots are everywhere, and autonomous systems are playing an increasingly important role across a huge range of sectors and applications. Meanwhile, they're getting more cost-effective and they're becoming more and more powerful. So far, so good. But there's a tangible gap between what they can achieve here and now and the kinds of capabilities we need as a society. Throughout the MBZIRC Maritime Grand Challenge, we at Aspire are looking to bridge this gap as a part of our wider remit. We're seeking to push technological boundaries, enabling robots to work more autonomously in dynamic, unstructured environments while interacting and collaborating with us and with each other. The MBZIRC Maritime Grand Challenge, for those of you who do not know much about us, we'll start with a little bit of background. MBZIRC stands for the Mohammed bin Zayed International Robotics Challenge. It aims to become one of the world's largest and most prestigious international robotics competitions. Established in 2017, it's held every 2 years in Abu Dhabi as a real-world challenge for universities, research centers, companies, and individual innovators from all over the world. The aim of the challenge is to inspire the development of solutions in autonomous robotics. Our previous challenges have attracted teams from across Asia, Europe, North America, and the Middle East. Today, it's at the very forefront of exploration and experimentation as we set out to find novel technologies, technological successes that are resilient in a dynamic and unpredictable market. I would like to show you a small promo video of MBZIRC Maritime Grand Challenge.
From the Mohammed bin Zayed International Robotics Challenge, a new global grand challenge for 2023, as teams of pioneering innovators from around the world converge on the coast of Abu Dhabi, UAE, to take part in an ambitious robotics competition and compete for a prize purse of over $3 million. Welcome to the MBZIRC Maritime Grand Challenge. The MBZIRC Maritime Grand Challenge is a unique, real-world challenge intended to inspire the creation of groundbreaking solutions in autonomous robotics, focused on applications of heterogeneous swarms in the air and out at sea, stimulating ideas, encouraging collaboration, and pushing boundaries. This edition of MBZIRC is a System of Systems challenge, bringing together diverse teams with skills in robotics, navigation, communications, and autonomous technologies to unleash their creativity together. In 2023, the Maritime Grand Challenge will focus on deploying autonomous robotic technologies to address the global problems of illegal fishing, piracy, smuggling, and coastline security. This highly complex, multi-layered task involves autonomous, unmanned aerial and surface vehicles working together in a GNSS-denied environment out at sea to detect an unfriendly vessel and offload goods from it in the shortest possible time. Making it happen will require a collaborative symphony of heterogeneous technologies and unmanned platforms backed by autonomous infrastructure. The MBZIRC Maritime Grand Challenge is organized over 3 distinct phases. A white paper phase, open to participants from across the globe until the end of December 2021. A simulation phase for shortlisted semi-finalists. And finally, a demonstration phase for 5 finalists who compete against the clock in a real-life scenario. To succeed, you'll need to create a vibrant ecosystem of partners to propel novel solutions with deep reasoning to counter real-world problems. Now, the call for participation is open. To register your interest and battle with the leading pioneers of autonomous robotics, visit us at mbzirc.com and let the Maritime Grand Challenge begin. Visit mbzirc.com for more details.
Please note our video still says that the white paper submission should be till end of December. We have extended the deadline to end of January. So 31st January, 6 p.m. GST is the deadline for white paper submission. So I'm delighted to set out the details of our very next MBZIRC Grand Challenge, the 3rd edition. This is a unique real-world competition designed to inspire the creation of groundbreaking solutions in autonomous robotics in the air and out at sea, stimulating ideas, encouraging collaboration, and pushing boundaries. In 2023, the MBZIRC Maritime Grand Challenge will deploy autonomous robotic technologies to address the very real and present global problems of illegal fishing, piracy, smuggling, and coastline security. It's a highly complex multi-layered task involving autonomous aerial and surface vehicles working together in a GNSS-denied environment off the coast of Abu Dhabi. The goal is to identify a target vessel and offload goods from it in the shortest possible time. What makes this different from other grand challenges? It's the first ever challenge to involve heterogeneous collaboration among unmanned aerial vehicles and unmanned surface vehicles. So are you and your team up for the challenge? Let's start by looking at the incentives, the prizes. Our total prize pot is 3.5 million US dollars. And it is designed not only to reward our 1st, 2nd, and 3rd place finishers, but all those who complete our simulation phase and advance to the final round. So our demonstration, the finalists who proceed to the final demonstration will share a prize purse of $500,000 split equally among the finalists who will proceed to the final demonstration phase. All right. The first prize is $2 million US, second prize is $500,000 US, and the third prize $250,000 US. MBZIRC Maritime Grand Challenge teams will use heterogeneous unmanned system comprising of one USV, which is an autonomous unmanned surface vehicle, mounted with a robotic manipulation arm, or as many arms as you like, and a swarm of 5 to 20 unmanned aerial vehicles. So I just want to talk a little bit more about the equipment that you can bring into this challenge. So the teams have to bring the UAVs, the teams have to sponsor the UAVs on their own. You can bring between 5 to 20 UAVs. Aspire is going to provide the USV and the funding towards Robotic Arm and its mounting platform, which is up to $50,000 per team to each of the teams that will proceed to the final demonstration phase. Yeah, the UAVs may land on, take off, or recharge on the USV. You can use the USV as a base station for your UAVs, or if you don't want to use it, it's really up to you. So the possibility of using the USV platform for landing the UAVs is allowed. In terms of communication, the swarm of unmanned systems must work in a GNSS denied environment, and no extra system communication is allowed except for the communication from the UAV plus USV system to the operator to inform about the objects that need to be identified and to be picked up in the intervention activity. I'm going to talk a little bit more about it in the next slide. So taking a step back, the equipment that is allowed is a USV, robotic arm or arms, and the mounting platform, plus 5 to 20 UAVs. The minimum number of UAVs you need to bring in is 5, and the maximum is 20. I hope this is clear. So I'm going to talk a little bit about the various tasks involved in the challenge. In the inspection task, so the UAV and the USV will be at the start gate. Start gate will be on the shore, part water and part land. So you can choose where you want your UAVs to be. USV will be in the water. And once the clock starts, the system is deployed in an area of 10 square kilometers where there is a target vessel. The intelligence to find a target vessel and possibly the objects that need to be picked up from the target vessel are provided in advance for the team to program into their system. So at the start gate, at the start time, the system is launched into the demonstration area. The UAVs and the USV system go and inspect the area and look for a target vessel matching the description provided in the intelligence report. Once they find a vessel that matches the description provided in the intelligence report, they need to start a video stream to the operator. And this video stream needs to be accompanied by a clear marking of the target vessel and a Boolean for the Boolean that the operator can respond to say yes or no. If the target vessel is incorrectly identified by the system, the team gets a time penalty and they need to continue searching. But if the target vessel is correctly identified and the operator says yes, they can proceed to the intervention task. And in the intervention task, the system has to look for a small object and a large object. First, a small object, it has to be in this order. Once the system finds a small object, the video stream needs to continue to the operator. And once the operator confirms that the object is identified correctly, the UAVs have to either collaborate between each other, or a single UAV picks up this small object from the target vessel and places it on the USV platform. Yeah. And you have to make sure that you don't drop this object in the water, then you again get a time penalty. You need to pick it up neatly and then put it on the USB platform. And once this task is done, the system has to continue looking for a larger object. And once a larger object is detected, activate a video stream or send a video stream to the operator, accompanied by Boolean for the operator to either confirm or decline the correct identification of the large object. Once the operator confirms, the team can proceed with the intervention activity. So this, the intervention of the larger object, has to happen in multiple sequential steps that I'm going to say right now. More than one UAV, a team of UAVs have to collaborate together, attach themselves to the larger object and move it from one point on the target vessel to another point on the target vessel. So let's say the first point is point A, where this larger object is, and the second point is point B. The point B has to be such that it is more convenient for the robotic arm mounted on the USV to reach in and then pick up. So once this larger object is moved by multiple UAVs in collaboration with each other, the robotic arm mounted on the USV has to reach into the target vessel, pick up this larger object and put it on the USV platform. Yeah, and the moment the larger object is put on the USV platform, the clock timer stops, and this will the time between the start of the demonstration and the time when the larger object is placed on the USV platform will be the time you take for the demonstration activity, plus all the penalties that you have accumulated. So yeah, let's proceed further. So we are conducting this is a very hard challenge. Yeah, in order for us to make sure that we have success at the end, we are conducting this in 3 phases. The first phase is white paper. You can submit your white paper till 31st January 2022, 6 p.m. GST. I'm going to delve a little bit deeper into the white page in the next slide. The reason why we want to see the white paper is we first want to see what kind of teams are taking part, and if the team has the expertise and the knowledge to tackle such a challenge. Yeah. Once we receive the white papers, we are going to have an esteemed panel of judges who screen these white papers and provide us a set of teams that are possibly good, that are good enough to go to the next phase. So the next phase will be the simulation phase, where each of the teams will provide proof of concept of the design provided in their white paper phase. We will be providing an open source simulation software, and the teams have to use this open source simulation software. If they have their own simulation software, we will have to evaluate it and then see if that would be okay for us to consider and evaluate the proof of concept. And at the end of simulation phase, we are going to see the proof of concept in simulation, and the proof of concept should be as close to reality as possible. And at the end of simulation phase, we are going to pick up to 5 teams to proceed to the final demonstration phase. So the final demonstration phase is going to be about 9 months. Each of these teams will be given a USV, and they need to bring their own UAVs and work on the development of the proof of concept that they gave to us in simulation phase. So the final demonstration will be held in Abu Dhabi in the summer of 2023, and each of the teams will come here and attempt this challenge in real world. So whoever accomplishes this challenge in the shortest amount of time will be chosen the winner. The maximum amount of time they can take for this challenge as of now is 50 minutes. So whoever accomplishes this challenge in the smallest amount of time, as per the rules of the competition, will be the winner. Now, as I said in the previous slide, I've just copy pasted the white paper submission requirement from our website. So make sure that your white paper is maximum 15 pages. And it mainly consists of 2 sections. One is the team information, where we want to see the capability of the team that is going to partake in this challenge. We want to see what kind of capabilities the team has, what kind of experience and their knowledge in this domain. The second part is the technical approach as to how exactly the team is going to attempt and solve this challenge. As described in the white paper submission requirement, 40% weightage will be given to the team information and 60% to the technical approach. So we welcome applications from teams around the world, and that means any team with the skills, resources, and knowledge to participate and succeed. We're particularly interested in hearing from universities, research centers, innovative businesses, and pioneering individuals. It's possible that many individual institutions or organizations may lack all of the necessary skills in one place. So we are actively encouraging the formation of stronger teams. We are providing a community forum. It's called MBZIRC Community. So once you register for the competition, you're going to receive, once you register and confirm the registration, you will receive an email with an invite to join the MBZIRC Community Forum. Once you go to the forum, you will be able to see other participants that are that would like to team up with you. You can just post a message asking for possible collaborations, and try and be specific about collaborations. Don't give out your design details in the community forum, because other teams can also see what you post there. So use the community forum mostly for two purposes. One is the teaming activity to form better teams. And the second one is you can ask questions to organizers. Some people are using this forum very effectively. They are asking us quite a few questions, and we have posted clarifications. Since the white paper deadline is coming close, we are not providing any information that is not already either on the FAQs or on the webinars or on the white paper submission requirement. So all the information that you need for white paper is already provided on our website. If some information is not available, if you're looking for any particular information and it's not available on the website, make educated assumptions and state these assumptions in your white paper so that we know what assumptions you've made. And that will be easy for us to understand and judge accordingly. So now, are you ready to submit your white paper? We'll be taking questions now. So anybody who has questions, please shoot away. Tom?
Sure, thank you very much, Veena. Had a few questions come in. Firstly, just one on the simulator, and what simulator are we going to be providing? Is it Gazebo or Unity based?
Okay, so the details of simulation environment are going to be provided before the simulation phase. Tom, do you still see my desktop? Is it still shared?
Yes.
Okay, so just give me a second. I'm trying to stop sharing. Stop sharing. Okay, that's better. All right. The details of the simulation environment will be provided at the beginning of simulation phase. So we are currently finalizing the details of simulation environment, the various UAV types and the payloads that we will provide for the simulation phase. So just bear with us. All the participants who will proceed to the simulation phase will get a clear description of the environment, the software, and other associated details. So yeah.
Okay, great. A couple more have come in on the target vessels and the payloads associated with that. So first one is just, can we provide a little bit more information on what will be the maximum velocity of the target vessels?
Maximum velocity of the target vessels. Yeah. Well, we can, we still don't know what the maximum velocity of the target vessels is, but we will pretty much be controlling all the target vessels. So they will not be, okay, they will not be stationary for sure. Till you find the target vessels, they will be moving at a very, very slow speed. Let's say 1, maximum 2 knots.
Okay. Next one is the target vessel moving while the manipulator arm task takes place and while the UAVs are picking up objects from its deck?
Okay, So look, the target vessel is going to be in the water. Even if it is anchored, there is going to be some movement. So you have to accommodate for this much movement. We cannot keep it 100% stationary. So that is number one. If the target vessel will be moving, no, we are trying to anchor the target vessel once the ID is confirmed. So you can assume that the target vessel will be anchored and will move around the anchor. Yeah, based on the weather conditions at that point in time.
Okay, next one's also on the payload collection task, and it's just, does it need to be done sequentially? And if so, does the small payload need to be moved first, or is that just at the team's discretion?
Well, we would like to have this done sequentially. The small object needs to be moved first, and then the larger object.
Okay, and then another one on what is the maximum wind speeds and sea states that the system should work over?
Okay, the sea state is going to be between 0 and 3, 0 to 3. Maximum is 3.
Okay, and then what is the size of the target vessels?
Well, we have given an approximate size of the target vessels, so please work with that right now. It could be between 10 and 15 meters long and about 3 to 5 meters in width.
Okay. Will we know the approximate location of the test area in advance so that we can go and practice there?
Okay, so for the final demonstration, you will get all the details of final demonstration. So the final demonstration area will not be known to the participants till the final run. However, we are going to provide you a test area where you can do setting up, testing to make sure that your equipment is working and stuff like that. So the final demonstration is not going to be known.
Okay, then another one just following up on the sea state and kind of wind speed question, just on the maximum, what is the maximum wind speed? I mean, I guess it's the wind. We can't really control how strong that's going to be on the day.
So the only thing we can say is, look, we are trying to conduct this in as good weather conditions as possible. So adding adverse weather is not part of the challenge. So if the weather is not very conducive, we will possibly cancel that particular run and then rerun it. So don't worry too much about it. We'll take care.
Okay, and then will we be announcing the shape and texture of the objects that need to be moved from the target vessel?
Not right now. For white paper, we are not revealing this.
But will we announce them more generally? So will the teams have that information before they have to complete the tasks?
Yeah, so during simulation phase, you already have a fair idea of the target objects to be picked up. And before final demonstration, we are going to provide a bit more additional details.
Then another one on, is there a maximum velocity at which the target vessels will be moving? So I assume this is in relation to the identification element of the task.
Yeah, so the target vessel will not be moving at a very high speed. I think I answered this question previously. Just assume for white paper that it will be moving at 1 to 2 knots.
What's the size of the landing platform on the USV?
So the USV details are already on the white paper submission criteria. I'm just going to refer to that. Give me a second. I will have to give you an approximate dimension as of now. It's going to be about 2 meters by 1.5 meters. So there will be 3 different possible configurations to the USV. Depends how you configure the USV. At least one platform which will be 2 meters by 1.5 meters. If you like, you can extend 2 more platforms that will be a little bit lower in height. And these will be 2 meters by 1 meters each. So just look at the USV. Let me just share my screen. Yeah. And I will share my screen and then show you what I mean. Do you see my screen, Tom? With the USB?
Yes.
Okay. So this is a platform, this is a platform, and this is a platform. As you can see from the USB, it's a configurable USB. Sorry, I moved to the other page. Yeah, it's a configurable USB. You can bring these 2 hulls either closer together or keep them apart like this. And this is a platform. This is a platform. This is a platform. So there is a lot of area for the UAVs to land, and there is also enough area for you to mount multiple robotic arms if you so wish.
Okay, great. Then one on the kind of team structure. Is it allowed to add other organizations to the team in the latter stages of the challenge, or can teams kind of form up at a later stage to join and combine and make larger teams?
It is allowed to add team members to the teams at a later point in time. However, you will have to take the permission of Aspire to add new members, and there has to be justification for adding new members. So yeah, brief to answer the question brief, yes, it is possible. You just have to run it through us.
Okay, then we've had a couple more on the shape and the texture of the packages. So we've covered those off already, in that they will be announced, but just not yet. Another one on, can we use any kind of UAV?
If you can, yeah, as of now, there is no restriction on the type of UAV you can use. So go ahead and write your white paper based on this assumption that there is no limitation on the type of UAV you can use.
Another one on the payload target, just about the height of it. Again, we'll be announcing these in due course. Likewise, will they be flexible or rigid? Again, pending further information on that one. One more on the UAVs has just come in, is are gas UAVs accepted?
Gas UAVs. Yeah, I don't see why not. Yeah, sure.
And then one regarding the size of the USV, will it be big enough to have the operators on it? Okay,
so this is a completely unmanned operation. So the operator is part of Aspire, yeah? So during the demonstration, none of the team members will have access to their equipment or any electronics. So, and none of the team members will be allowed to sit on the USV or on the target vessels or anything. So all the team members will be with us in the observation area, and the entire operation has to be completely unmanned. So once you launch your system from the start gate, there is no human intervention whatsoever. The only extra system communication that is allowed is streaming the videos for the operator to say yes or no. Yeah. So if at all there is personnel that is in the water, that will be from the organizer's side for whatever we need to do for organizing the challenge and the route and all that stuff. So the team will not be able to interact at all with the system from the start to the finish.
Okay, a couple more on adding members to the team. Obviously, yes, we've just covered that one off, but with permission. Then one regarding the search area. Will the search area and indeed the payloads be exactly the same for all 3 attempts?
If the search area and the payload will be the same for all 3 attempts, no. So the demonstration area may be yeah, it doesn't have to be. So yeah, it can be different demonstration area, and each time the size, shape, and the weight of the payload might differ. The only thing we are saying right now is that the small object of intervention can be up to 1 kilograms, and the larger one can be up to 10 kilograms.
Okay, one regarding UAVs now. So can one UAV take off well after the time has started, or do all of the UAVs have to take off together at the beginning of the challenge?
Okay, so we provide you a start gate and a start time. Yeah, so whether your equipment takes off at the start time or just waits there, it's completely up to you. As long as you respect the fact that the equipment is at the start gate at the start time, and the demonstration activity is done in the specified amount of time, it doesn't matter whether one UAV waits at the start gate or the entire system waits at the start gate and then starts only after 20 minutes, 30 minutes, it doesn't matter.
Okay, next one on the robotic arm. So can the arm manipulate the 20 UAVs in order to sort them?
Yeah, sure.
And then another one on the robotic arm, just is there are there any requirements on the specific reach required for the arm?
Well, this is what we want to see from you. So we will provide you further details of target vessels in simulation and final demonstration phase. And we would want you to design a robotic arm that will cater to these requirements. So this is actually an answer we're looking from you.
Okay, then another one on the UAVs. Is it possible to, can teams use one UAV to pick up the payload? So one sort of specific for lifting heavy items, or do they have to use multiple to pick up the payloads, and do they have to collaborate, or can it just be one doing it on its own?
Okay, so the small payload can be picked up either by one UAV or multiple UAVs. The larger payload has to be moved in collaboration with multiple UAVs. I hope that answers the question.
Yes. Okay, one more here, just regarding navigation. So are teams able to use and place markers for localization? And can they be a different color, and how many can they use? And so I assume the UAVs place markers, or however they want to implement that.
So the teams will be not given access to the demonstration area before the start of the run. And you cannot place any markers in the demonstration area because that will be considered as extra system communication, which is not allowed. So you cannot put any markers on the demonstration area. But you can use your own UAVs as markers after the start time.
Okay, so is the start gate within the target area, or do the UAVs and the USV need to travel to enter the demonstration area from the start gate?
I didn't get that question. Please repeat.
So do the UAV and USV system need to travel any distance from the start gate to the demonstration area, or is the start gate within the area?
So the start gate is within the demonstration area, except that the start gate also has a piece of land just in case the UAVs need to rest on the land.
Okay. Can we share any information on how the area is bounded or delimited to ensure that none of the UAVs cross the area limitations?
So as of now, just make assumptions about how the area can be bounded. So what we are going to do is from the start gate, we will provide an approximate distance of the demonstration, or approximate, not approximate. I'll just reattempt answering this again. So from the start gate, we will provide the coordinates of the demonstration area. So let's say from the start gate, 10 square kilometer, we'll say 2 kilometers to the right, 2 kilometers to the left from the start gate, and 2 kilometers deep. This is your demonstration area. Yeah, this is how we will provide you the information. If it is any different, I mean, this is what you can assume for the white paper phase. Yeah, if it is going to be any different, we will let you know in the later phases.
Great. Can the robotic arm be custom built? And is it, can it be an arbitrary design as long as it, does the job and fits the USV?
So we are going to provide you up to $50,000 towards the robotic arm and the mounting platform. So you can use this $50,000 for the following: either to buy a commercially available robotic arm that you can just take and mount, or develop a robotic arm from scratch, or buy a robotic arm and improve it to customize it to the challenge. And of course, the mounting platform. So now how you use this $50,000 is really up to you, as long as you run the plan through us and then we approve it.
Great. Can you give an example of the intelligence report, which specifies the vessel that the system needs to find?
Okay, for the white paper phase, this is all you can assume. That just imagine there is a suspicious vessel going in water, and somebody, another civilian, just sees a vessel with suspicious activity, takes a couple of pictures from his cell phone from distance, maybe not so very clear, partial images. So partial visual imagery is all the intelligence that will be provided, and this is what you need to assume for the white paper phase.
Okay, great. One more coming in on, are teams allowed to use sonar sensors with the USV to localize it using seafloor mapping?
This is a very good question. So all the payloads that will be mounted on the USV and UAV have to adhere to the regulations laid out by the local authorities, which is TDRA. So I think it's also part of our FAQ, and we have provided the link to TDRA over there. Just take a look, and if you think there will not be any objections to using this technology, I think you can go ahead and use this one.
One regarding the target vessels now. So will all the vessels in the demonstration area be target vessels, or will there be dummy vessels that don't contain any targets?
Yeah, so in the demonstration area, we are going to have up to 10 vessels. Yeah. And in these 10 vessels, there will be either 1 or maximum 2 target vessels. So the vessels that are not target vessels could be anything.
One come in saying, since we can use the UAVs as markers, can we use the UAVs to set markers?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, you can use the UAVs to set markers once the start time is on, not before that.
Okay. Moving the larger item with more than one drone adds complexity. Is there any reason why this has to be conducted with multiple drones?
Yeah, we want to see how the drones can collaborate with each other to accomplish tasks similar to intervention tasks. This is something we want to see innovation in. Of course, it adds complexity that is desired for the challenge.
Another one, can we use GSM SIM network on our drones/USV?
Yeah, so we are currently exploring the possibility, what kind of network can the system establish within itself for intra-system communication. So as of now, go ahead and make educated assumptions and state it in your white paper. Eventually, we will be getting permission from the local authorities to figure out what sort of local network is allowed, whether it's Wi-Fi or 5G, GSM, whatever that is. And we will provide the concrete details and the channel information to you either in the simulation or the demonstration phase. So for white paper, we still don't have this information. So make your assumption and state the assumption. Just make sure that it's not an extra system communication. It's just an intra-system communication.
Okay. Another one on the target vessels. In previous videos, we've stated that the vessel will look a bit like a dhow. Dhows have quite tall borders. Can teams assume that the deck of the vessel will be cluttered, and the object's going to be next to the border and not that trivial to pick up?
So we are not going to make it more challenging than it already is. Okay, so the objects will not be cluttered with each other. We will put the objects where it's clearly visible, and you will not have challenge trying to get the object out of a cluttered set of things and stuff like that. So the objects will just be placed on the deck of a vessel. And there is a possibility that we will also have some dummy objects so that you need to find the right object based on the intelligence provided to you before the final demonstration.
With the simulation phase, will it be on-site judging, as in are the judges going to go to the respective institutions and evaluate the simulation results on site?
Yes, so the final details of how exactly we are going to evaluate the proof of concept in simulation will be revealed later, but here is a top level idea. We want to see the simulation of proof of concept. We want to see the entire demonstration happen in simulation. We also want to see how accurate the simulation is. Let's say a team has used a UAV that has a flying time of 50 minutes, but they actually do not have a UAV that can do this kind of flying time. Yeah, so the teams will also have to prove to us that whatever they have done in simulation is feasible in the real world, and they do have access to this equipment. So that's how the simulation phase will be evaluated. So we will be visiting the teams to evaluate what kind of facilities they have, if they actually have the capability to do the development for the final demonstration.
Okay, next one's just on the objects on the target vessel, just on what's the number and volume. So I think we've covered that one off fairly extensively. Next one is okay. So if teams fail to move the small object or drop it and it falls in the sea or something like that, can they then continue on to the larger object manipulation? And can the two tasks be done in parallel?
Well, the thing is, the two tasks ideally need to be done in sequence. At least for the white paper, they need to be done in sequence. We will evaluate the possibility of doing these two tasks in parallel, maybe for the later phases. For the white paper, we basically want to see what is the technique that you're going to use for intervention. Yeah, in the white paper phase, nobody has a clock, nobody is checking how fast you can do it. All these things will be evaluated in simulation and the final demonstration. So if you think you can do this parallelly, we will deal with it later. But for white paper, it has to be done in sequence because you need to first send the signal of the smaller object to the operator has to confirm, and then you need to send the signal of the larger object and the operator has to confirm. So at least sending the video stream and confirming the object happens in sequence because there's just one operator sitting.
Great. Next one's regarding IP. And so if teams team up with an industrial company or a startup and use their product as part of their solution for the challenge, is the IP of that product included in the agreement with Aspire?
So the intention is that all the IP that is invented in the process of taking part in this competition. So from the day you submit the white paper to the day you do the final demonstration, comes under the agreement that you have with Aspire. So any IPs that have been filed and approved before that do not come under our agreement. So all the details will be provided to you in competitor agreement that will be provided before the simulation phase.
Okay. Can teams use cellular network to communicate between the UAVs?
We are currently evaluating this option. The problem with cellular network is there is a possibility that you also get the GPS information. So go ahead, make your assumptions and state it in the white paper. And then we will evaluate based on this.
Next one's on the simulation phase, just saying, so the simulation is a physical simulation. I see this is sort of off the back of the question earlier about our judges going to come to respective institutions to evaluate the simulation. So just on off the back of that, what happens if there's a restriction on traveling due to COVID? Do we need to prepare for a computational simulation or video or something like that?
So before we actually travel to the participants, we are going to do a remote evaluation. And don't worry about you having to travel because we will come to you. So we will find a way for either us or our team to come to you and evaluate the simulation and the capability you have to proceed to the next phase.
Great. Next one is just which operator will confirm the item, Aspire or the competitor?
Aspire.
Another one on can we use beacons or kind of GPS devices, GPS-like device to determine the internode distance and distance of a node from a device installed on the ground?
So you will not be allowed to install any devices on the ground. You are allowed to use beacons, but you're not allowed to use any devices. So the environment should be GNSS denied. So I really don't understand this question, because if you're using GPS information, then the whole purpose of running it in a GNSS denied environment is defeated. So we would prefer that you try and attempt to solve this challenge without using any GPS information.
Great. Next one's just, can the USV hook or connect to the target vessel in any way?
Yes, you can hook or connect to the target vessel, but just don't damage it.
Another one just on using mapping by the sea floor. Just can we use a device, a mapping device on the USV to localize it?
Yeah, you can use a mapping device on the USV, but just make sure that you're not using any GNSS or GPS information.
Regarding the simulation, one question coming in just about can they use their own simulator?
Yeah, so if you have your own simulator that can cater to your equipment better than what we are providing, we are working with an excellent company that is going to provide a very good simulation environment. But if you think you have a better simulation environment, run it past us, let us evaluate it. And once we have the confidence that that this is possibly better for you to use, and we will still be able to judge it in a fair way in comparison to other teams that are using the simulation environment provided by us. We will possibly give you an okay, but the final decision is with us.
Great. Next one is on can the teams choose the time of day or night at which they do the challenge?
So the challenge will be done during the day. So this you can take for granted during sufficient daylight.
Okay. Next one is, can we get the grid of notation?
Grid of notation. I don't understand this. I'm not familiar with this terminology. If whoever asked this question, just please write a little bit more.
Okay. Right, let's just have a look through the chat and see if there's any we haven't covered. Please try and, I know there's a message that went out in the chat, but can you please ensure that it's posted in the Q&A as well, as it's just easier for us to sort through them all.
We got a lot of questions today, Tom.
Yeah. It's good to hear. So keep them coming, please, guys.
Okay, grid of notation. I think I see it. They want to know the penalties.
Yes, assessment or penalties.
Okay, so here's the thing. We are currently compiling the rule book, and the rule book will be provided to you in the beginning of simulation phase. This rule book will have a table of all possible activities that qualify for penalty and the penalty associated with it. So for the white paper phase, yeah, I mean, we cannot put a penalty on you for the white paper phase. We will be grading it based on the team information and your technical design. So just bear with us till the rule book is out. I see that a lot of questions have to do with simulation and the final demonstration. So let us try and concentrate on the white paper phase because the deadline is coming close. And all the details that you need for simulation and the final demonstration will come at a later point in time.
I had one question here of when will the webinar end? Apologies, it has dragged on a little bit over the hour mark. It is a recording and it will be posted on the website. So if you do have to drop off, you will be able to find the answers to any of the questions. So please do just post them in the Q&A. We'll get them answered, and then yeah, the recording will be posted on the website in the webinar section. So don't worry about that. And to answer your question of when will the webinar end, I guess when we run out of questions.
Yes. We are cutting a little bit more. We already crossed the time for ending the webinar, but we'll stay put for some more time. So another 5 to 10 minutes. We'll take a few more questions.
Another one just about the, can teams change their approach? So if they submit their white paper and then progress to the next phase, and then have a better idea, can they then tweak and go down at a slightly different angle?
Well, improvements to the existing idea are will be allowed, but if you have a fundamentally different idea, we will have to you will have to run it past us and get an okay from us. So this is not desired. The whole reason why you're going to the next phase is because we like your idea and we want you to work on this idea and improve it. But if you have a fundamentally new idea, it's like starting all over again.
Just another one, picking up on your point, Veena, about no devices on the ground. So just would like some further clarification on that. Does that mean that the teams can't have any base station on the ground, no beacons at all, and can they use beacons and videos to check for the operator to check / confirm the boats and objects?
Okay. I think whoever this person is seems to have a little bit of a misunderstanding. So we will provide you a start gate where all your equipment has to be before the clock timer starts for you to launch into the demonstration area. And if you want to leave a beacon, so this beacon cannot be just an equipment like a light bulb that you just leave on the demonstration area, because it is not part of the allowed equipment. But if you have a UAV that is mounted with the beacon, which is part of the system, it can stay in the start gate itself, and the rest of the equipment can go into the demonstration area. That is allowed. Yeah. If this is what you're thinking, then it is allowed, but you cannot, one of the team members just cannot take like a flashing light and put it in the start gate and use that for localization. That will not be allowed because it's not part of the allowed equipment.
Okay, next one is how will you assess the white paper?
Okay, so the white paper grading criteria has already been provided in the white paper submission document. I'm just going to read it out of there. So we are asking for two information. One is the team information, and the second one is technical approach. We are going to provide 40% weightage to the team information and 60% weightage to the technical approach. We want to see the experience team has in various aspects required in this challenge. UAV, USV technology, object localization in GNSS denied environments, etc. And in the technical approach, we want to see how the swarming can take place in a GNSS denied environment, how they will mount a robotic arm, how will they stabilize it in water, what are the techniques used for attaching the UAVs to the objects of intervention and putting it on the platform, and how will they collaborate between these heterogeneous systems in a way that they can do this task accurately. So this is what we're looking for, and the grading will be 40-60. I cannot reveal any further details.
Okay, this is a good one. Can the robotic arm be mounted on the drone rather than the USV?
So you are free to mount the robotic, mount any payload on your UAVs, but the intervention of the larger object has to happen from a robotic arm that is mounted on the USV.
Follow-up question on regarding kind of hooking up to the target vessels. Are there any restrictions on the kinds of devices that can be used by the robotic arm on the USV, e.g. suction devices or adhesives?
No, there is no restriction. You can design the robotic arm the way you like, and you can attach to the target object the way you like.
Okay. Another one regarding devices on the ground. Can we install a device on the ground by which we determine the distance from it to the node? So like GPS or GNSS, but not. So it's they put the device in, and yeah, assume they have a different mechanism that's not GNSS that they can then use to determine distances from that to the node.
No, you cannot install any devices on the demonstration area before the start of demonstration. So if it is not a UAV or USB or a robotic arm, there is no way that this is going to be valid. But coming back to the question, you want to use a technology that is similar to GPS or GNSS, but not exactly GPS or GNSS. I really don't understand what you mean by this. The whole idea is that you don't use GPS or GNSS signals. But if you're talking about, I really don't know. So here is what I recommend. You please state what exactly this this technology or technical approach is in your white paper, so that we can assess it and write your white paper based on this description, because I'm not able to understand, nor do I have knowledge about this technology. That's why I'm not able to provide you a concrete answer.
Okay. Is there any, here's one on the white paper submission, is there any chance of the deadline being extended due to COVID?
Why should the deadline be extended due to COVID? You can do teleconference, you can write at the comfort of your home. So this is not a valid argument. No, we are not extending it. Sorry.
Okay. Scroll. Will we be providing written feedback on our white paper?
No, we will only announce the teams that will proceed to the simulation phase.
Okay, great.
The reason being, it's just a lot of work providing written feedback to each team that's submitting the white paper. So we will only announce the teams that will proceed to the simulation phase.
Another one just on the shape of the object. Again, I'm not sure if this person joined a little late, but we've kind of covered that off in that will not be announced yet.
Yeah.
One person here would like to know how many participants have registered until now.
Oh, we have close to 500 odd registrations.
Next one, again regarding navigation. So can we add standard non-GNSS navigational equipment to the USV?
I don't know what that is. So forgive my ignorance on this one. It would be best that you state some description of this equipment in your white paper, and then write the technique in which you're going to use this equipment for navigation.
Okay, next one is just, what is your definition of a robotic arm?
What is our definition of a robotic arm? Okay, this is going to be a hard one. So something that can simulate an arm, a human arm, for picking up objects from the USV, from the target vessel, and put it on the platform, and it operates. It's made of electronic equipment, and operates autonomously with signals that are provided by sensors and a computer on board. It was just my attempt to answer this question. I'm not an expert in this one.
Okay, next one is, can we localize our USV by doing SLAM, S-L-A-M, looking at the sea floor using sonar or LiDAR, and then localize all other USVs using distance data from it using beacons on the USV?
Well, as long as you're not using GNSS information and you're adhering to the limitations set out by the regulatory authorities, it should be okay. So in our FAQs, we have provided a link to the regulatory authorities. I'm just trying to find that FAQ number. Bear with me for a second. The local regulatory authority is called TDRA. Just take a look at their website and see if you can find any information. If this kind of, I'm just looking for it. Okay, I'm not able to locate that particular, yeah, okay, it's FAQ number 40, yeah. In that we have provided a link to the local regulations on the radio frequency system, and I think they have regulations on various types of signals that can be used. If it is allowed by the local regulatory authorities, I think you can go ahead and use it. And it should not use GNSS data. Yeah.
Okay. Can teams install a landing pad on the ground for UAVs to fly back to for the return to home safety function?
If the teams can, well, this is a very good question. We have not thought this through. So we are going to have some land in the start gate. So there is going to be some sand over there. It's a seashore. So you can definitely get your UAVs back to the start gate. We will try and provide a marker for the start gate. If you can provide a landing pad, I'm not very sure. Just make an assumption and provide the assumption details in your white paper. If at all we will approve it or not, we can discuss it in the next phases.
Great. Will there be any kind of visual marks on the borders of the operating area?
No.
Can we explain a little bit more about the prize, and is there any rule to pay the prize to the champion teams?
If there is any rules to pay, you just have to win the competition, and then the money will be paid to you in US dollars to a particular bank account that is specified in the competitors agreement.
I think they're referring to around the kind of accepting the prize and the IP and the agreement around that. Okay.
So we've also stated this in our terms and conditions. So if the team wins the challenge and accepts the prize money, they have to provide us non-exclusive perpetual rights to all the IP that was invented as part of taking part in this grand challenge. So the complete details will be provided to you in the competitor agreement, and competitor agreement has to be signed by each team that will proceed to the simulation phase.
Okay, can teams use UAVs built in by manufacturers to detect malicious vessels in the ocean, or do they have to build their own system on regular UAVs?
I didn't really get the question. Sorry.
I think this is more about the identification of the target vessels. So do they have to teams? Are there any kind of rules on teams?
The types of UAV.
Yeah. So can they use UAVs that already have this function built in to detect malicious vessels in the ocean, or do they have to use standard UAVs and then add on their own systems for identifying the target vessels?
So as of now, we have not put any restrictions on the type of UAVs you can use. So if there are UAVs that are built in with specific payload that are tailor-made for this kind of task, you're free to use it.
Okay. We've said that the teams are not allowed to place anything in the demonstration area before starting. However, can the UAVs autonomously place beacons or markers in the demonstration area, leaving the beacon or marker there while the UAV leaves the base?
So the only equipment that will be allowed is the UAVs, the payloads that are already mounted on them, the USV, and the payload that is already mounted on the USV, including the robotic arm or arms. So if you want to already mount the UAVs with the beacons that can be detached and put as markers, you are free to do it. So this will be considered as a payload, right? But then you have to make sure that the beacon is already mounted on the UAV, and it can be detachable so that it can be dropped at a particular spot.
Okay, let's just still have a look at the rest of the questions coming through.
So we have already exceeded 20 minutes of our webinar time. We will take one more minute and we'll wrap up soon. Yeah.
And just to make everyone aware, this isn't the final webinar before the submission deadline. There will be one next week on Tuesday the 18th at 1 o'clock in the afternoon,
Yes.
GST, and then the final webinar will be the week after on Tuesday the 25th of January, and that will be at 10 o'clock in the morning GST. So yeah, 2 more opportunities between now and the submission deadline to hop on and submit questions. So just take a couple more questions here. I'm not sure we're going to be able to get through them all, but please do, as I said, jump back on in the coming weeks, or indeed you can submit questions online
In the community forum.
In the community forum.
Yeah, so we answer your questions as quickly as possible. So please register, get into the community forum. If you have problems getting into community forum, send an email to us at talktous@mbzirc.com. We also answer very quickly over there, but it is best that you ask the questions in community forum publicly so that we answer one question and all the other participants can also see it at the same time, and everybody gets the same amount of information.
Okay, great. So just, is there a target number of teams that are going to make the simulation phase?
So we are aiming for up to 20 teams to proceed to the simulation phase.
So is it allowed to use another mechanism for picking up the objects and putting them on the USV that's not an arm, as long as it complies with the requirements and does the job?
If it is not an arm, okay, this is very interesting. So I really don't know what to say, because I really don't understand how exactly you would do it if it is not an arm. But mounting a robotic arm, at least one robotic arm, and this arm reaching in and then picking up is a requirement. But if you want to define your robotic arm differently, yeah, please state this in, I think I'm guessing where you're getting at. So you want to design something that's similar to an arm, but still does not really look like a possible robotic arm that is known in the real world. So yeah, state your assumption, or state it in your design details clearly, and go ahead and submit your white paper. And if it is really a great idea, we'll possibly consider it. Okay,
another one just on the granting of the prize, but this is stated quite clearly on our in our FAQs and in our terms and conditions, so please do refer to that. And a few more.
So I just want to share my screen and show where the FAQs are to the participants. So this is the MBZIRC webpage. Yeah, I'm going to the home page right now, and this is where we have posted some of the, there are about 50 frequently asked questions that we are receiving from various participants, and we have provided answer to these questions. So I request you to go through these questions. This has very good insight into various aspects. This has very good insights into some of the detailed questions asked by participants, and it might even help you write your white paper.
Okay, so questions keep coming in. I think we're gonna have to call it, but I would just like to reiterate what Veena said around, can you please share them in the community forum, and then we can respond directly to you in there. That's not just the ones that we haven't reached or haven't managed to get to today, but throughout the rest of the week. If you do have any questions crop up, please do. You can see it there at the top of the page. Community forum, log in, sign up, and we can respond in kind in that forum.
Yes.
Thank you very much, everyone, for your time today. Really appreciate your questions, really appreciate your interest. We will be, as I said, having a couple more webinars, and remain available for any further questions over the next couple of weeks as the deadline draws nearer. So yeah, thank you very much, and Veena, I'll hand over to you to finish.
Thank you very much, everyone. Have a nice rest of the day. Yeah, see you. Good day. Bye.